In the vibrant coastal city of Accra, Ghana, where the Atlantic Ocean kissed the shores with relentless waves, a storm was brewing. It was 1985, and the air was thick with the scent of salt and the promise of rain. Edwa Mensah, the radiant 22-year-old daughter of Governor Kwame Mensah, stood on the deck of a private yacht, her silk dress fluttering against the wind. The governor, a powerful figure in Ghanaian politics, had insisted on this outing to celebrate her recent graduation from the University of Ghana. Edwa, with her sharp wit and fiery spirit, was the darling of Accra's elite, her beauty a topic of gossip in every high society parlor. But the sea was unforgiving that day. A sudden squall rocked the yacht, and before the crew could react, a massive wave swept Edwa overboard. Her screams were swallowed by the churning waters of the Gulf of Guinea. The yacht's crew scrambled, but the storm's fury made rescue impossible. Edwa fought the waves, her strength waning, until her world began to fade to black. On the shore, Kofi Nati, a 25-year-old fisherman from the nearby village of Teshi, was securing his wooden boat against the storm. Kofi was no stranger to hardship. His callous hands and weathered face told stories of days spent battling the sea for meager catches to support his widowed mother. He spotted a figure in the water, a flash of silk against the dark waves. Without hesitation, he dove into the roiling sea, his powerful strokes cutting through the chaos. He reached Edwa just as she slipped beneath the surface, pulling her to safety on a rocky outcrop. Kofi carried the unconscious Edwa to his humble hut in Teshi, where his mother, Mem Efua, helped revive her. When Edwa's eyes fluttered open, she saw Kofi's concerned face, his deep brown eyes reflecting the flicker of a kerosene lamp. Gratitude turned to curiosity as they spoke. Kofi was no polished suitor from Accra's elite circles, but his quiet strength and raw honesty captivated her. Over the next few days, while the governor's men searched for her, Edwa remained in Teshi, claiming she needed time to recover. In truth, she was drawn to Kofi's world, his tales of the sea, his laughter, and the way he looked at her, not as the governor's daughter, but as Edwa. Their connection deepened during stolen moments, sharing fufu under the stars, dancing to high-life music from a neighbor's radio, and sneaking to the beach at dawn. Edwa, used to gilded cages, found freedom in Kofi's simplicity. But their budding romance was a scandal waiting to erupt. The governor's daughter and a poor fisherman. The very idea would set Accra's rumor mills ablaze. When Edwa finally returned to the governor's mansion, her father was livid. The search had cost a fortune, and whispers of her survival had already reached the press. But Edwa's heart was no longer in the mansion. She slipped away to Teshi whenever she could, meeting Kofi in secret. Their love grew reckless, kisses stolen behind palm trees, promises whispered in the moonlight. Kofi gave her a carved wooden pendant, a symbol of his heart, which she wore hidden beneath her dresses. The scandal broke when a nosy journalist, sniffing for a story, spotted Edwa leaving Teshi at dawn. The headlines screamed, "Governor's daughter in sordid affair with fisherman." Accra's elite gasped, the governor was humiliated. He summoned Edwa, demanding she end it. But she defied him, declaring her love for Kofi. Enraged, Governor Mensah devised a plan to crush the affair. He bribed a local chief to accuse Kofi of theft, ensuring his arrest. Kofi was dragged from his hut in chains, his mother's cries echoing through the village. As Kofi languished in a cell, Edwa uncovered a shocking truth. While rummaging through her father's study, desperate for a way to free Kofi, she found hidden letters. They revealed that Kofi was not just a fisherman, he was the illegitimate son of a prominent politician, a rival of her father's, who had abandoned Kofi's mother years ago. The governor had known this and saw Kofi's arrest as a way to bury both a scandal and a political threat. Edwar's love for Kofi now carried a dangerous edge. Their union could expose her father's corruption and his rival's secrets. Determined, Edward confronted her father, threatening to leak the letters to the press unless Kofi was freed. The governor, cornered, relented, but not before warning her that Kofi's lineage would make their love a target for powerful enemies. Edward didn't care. She bailed Kofi out, and they fled to Cape Coast, where Kofi's mother had relatives. There, they planned to start anew, but the scandal followed. The politician, Kofi's father, surfaced, offering wealth to silence them. Edward and Kofi refused, choosing love over power. The story exploded across Ghana, with newspapers calling it the love that shook the nation. The governor's reputation crumbled as his rival's past was exposed. Edward and Kofi, now living quietly in Cape Coast, became folk heroes to some, a disgrace to others. Their love, born in a storm and forged in defiance, challenged Ghana's rigid class divides. Edward traded her silk dresses for Ken cloth, working alongside Kofi as they built a small fishing business. Mame Efua, proud of her son, blessed their union with a traditional ceremony by the sea. But the elite never forgot. Whispers of revenge lingered, and Edward and Kofi knew their peace was fragile. As they stood on the shores of Cape Coast, the wooden pendant gleaming around Edward's neck, they vowed to face whatever came, together. Their love, scandalous and unshakable, was a beacon in a nation grappling with change, a story told and retold under Ghana's starry skies.